Hello and welcome back to my channel. I've literally just got home from Starbucks. I got a caramel macchiato. Look how cute. And the lids are really different to the UK. They're like sippy lids. But I'm gonna mix it with a straw. They asked me what strength of coffee I wanted, and I don't really like coffee that much. I was like medium, but this is looking very milky. Taste test. Oh, that's good. Caramel macchiatos really confuse me because they don't actually have caramel syrup in them. It's just caramel drizzle. It's got vanilla. So if you haven't tried this before, do it because it's so good. This and a matcha are my go-to drinks. Don't mind the nails. I need to get them redone. I was picking them off during the England game. Not good. But today, I thought I would just go over a few questions that I've had on my Instagram because quite a lot of people didn't know that I was a type 1 diabetic. I don't really talk about it too much, but like you can see my CGM on my pictures. Like before I used to try and hide it. I was a bit, I wouldn't say, what's the word? Like confident enough to like wear it as a diabetic because like people would ask me questions and I just couldn't bother with the ag of being like, yeah, it's not a smoker's patch, it's a diabetic device to test my blood sugar. And they're like, oh my god, you've got type 2 diabetes. I'm like, no, type 1. And they're like, oh, you can't eat that. And there's just so much controversy about the whole thing. I just CBA. But now I feel like I'm a bit more confident. I don't really wear it on my arms as much just because like tan lines and things and like wearing dresses and they're out, I'm just a bit self-conscious. But other than that, we wear them with pride, okay? That is the goal. The goal of my life is to just not give a about what people think. That is the goal because I do, and it's really wrong. So I put a question box on my story, so I'm just gonna go through. There's not that many, but they're kind of just generic. How long have you had type 1 diabetes? So I got diagnosed in August 4 years ago. So yeah, 4 years in August it'll be. So what is it, like 3 years, 11 months? So yeah, during COVID it was, and I was admitted into hospital for 5 days, I think, because I was just really ill. How did you get diagnosed? So this is my diagnosis story. So I'll just go into it. So I was really ill for like a weekend. On the Monday I didn't go into work. I called in sick because I was like really unwell. Tuesday I called in sick as well. And Tuesday night my friends were like, oh, let's just go to I keep forgetting if it's Creams or Casper's, the dessert place. I think it's Creams. And I was like, oh, okay, that might make me feel better. I've just felt really like not well. I could not keep any food down. I was like, oh, pancake and a smoothie might help. So I went there. I remember the exact order I got. I got a crepe with strawberries and Nutella, and then I got a strawberry and banana smoothie. Probably the worst things to have pre-diabetic because they are just full of sugar. And yes, the smoothie is healthy, but it is also still full of sugar. So yeah, so then I went into work on the Wednesday morning, still very ill, probably the worst of the illness, but I thought I've had 2 days off, I need to do this. So I went in and I was sick in the work toilets. And my boss was like, you need to call your doctor now to get an appointment. So I called my doctor. I was like, hello, yeah, I've been throwing up for the last 3 days, probably over the weekend as well. I just don't really remember. Like I've been ill for 5 days now, like something is seriously wrong. I need an appointment. And I don't know if you know, but in the UK, like you can't just call the doctors anymore. You have to call exactly at 8 AM. And then you might be able to get an appointment that same day. If not, you have to try again the next morning, and then the next morning, and the next morning, blah, blah, blah. But because it was COVID, I think the people that were calling were seriously ill. So anyway, I called them and I was like, yeah, no, I've been throwing up. Like, I'm not coughing or anything, it's not COVID, but like I'm seriously ill. And they were like, please come in. So I literally left work. My work were obviously very, very nice about it, but also was so close to my doctor's. So I literally just walked there in 5 minutes, got seen straight away, literally peed in a pot, and that was it. And they were like, are you diabetic? I was like, no. And at that time, there was such a negative stigma against it, because I feel like there always is, like, oh, people with diabetes are really fat, they're really overweight, they're like, they eat rubbish all the time. And yes, okay, I do eat rubbish, but at that time in lockdown and in COVID, like, I was literally the healthiest I've ever been, but I was also seriously ill. So that's what we need to take away from it. Peed in a pot. They were like, you need to get an ambulance right now. Also, my mum was in France at this point, and my dad had literally just come back like a week before this happened. So it was just my dad at home. I was like, oh no, it's fine, like, my dad can take me to the hospital, it's really not that deep. And they were like, no, it is. You need to wait for an ambulance. And at this time, ambulances were obviously only working with like critical people. So I was like, shit, am I actually like that ill? And they were like, no, you need to wait here, it could be up to an hour, because obviously they're taking the people with COVID, the old elderly, everything like that, to the hospital. So I was like, no, my house is literally 3 minutes away, I can make my own way to the hospital, don't stress. They were like, no, we're not letting you leave. If you leave, you have to sign like a waiver. I was like, oh, all right. So I had to call my dad. At this point, I hadn't called him because I was just going to a doctor's appointment, thought they'd give me something like anti-sickness or whatever. So yeah, it was actually really scary. And like, I called my friend who lived in my area as well, like, just FYI, like, I am going to the hospital, like, I might have to text you if I need anything, because like, I didn't really want to worry my parents. Like, my mum was on holiday, my dad was at home, but like, it was very like a bit scary. So yeah. Were you very ill before? So as I said, like the few days before, yes, I was very ill, but before that I was extremely ill for like the whole of uni. Like, second year of uni, every single time I ate or I drank, specifically I remember potatoes used to make me really, really ill, like chips, jacket potato, anything. Every single time I ate it, I was literally sick within the hour, or I felt like my stomach was so unwell. And I've come to, and I said that I went to the hospital so many times in uni because they thought I had alcohol poisoning, they thought I had appendicitis. None of that happened. Like, they kept saying I was drinking too much, and while at uni I genuinely think I drank like twice a month, not even. Like, I was not the hard party girl, like I literally hardly went out. So it was really disheartening for them to kind of like just write it off when like I was perfectly fine. Like, alcohol poisoning just wasn't happening. And then when I finally, that was in Cambridge, and then when I finally came home, I kept going to the doctors. I had so many blood tests over the course of like the 3 years. Like, they were like, yeah, I upped my protein. I was taking like protein shakes and stuff, and they were like, you need to stop doing that, it's harming your body. I was like, okay, fine, I'll stop them. And the symptoms kind of got worse. So now I eat quite a high protein diet, because with diabetes, like, it's just easier to level out your sugar levels. So if you have loads of carbs, your sugar levels will go up, but if you have the carbs and protein like ratio, then they won't spike as much. Well, that's with me anyway. Obviously every single person is different. So yeah. Did you have to change your lifestyle? Not really. As I said, like, I didn't really go out that much. I feel like in COVID I probably did drink a bit more, just because like me and my friends would go to the park with a bottle of wine and just drink it. I never really drank at home on my own. We did those like pub quizzes and everything that everyone did, but I don't think I drank that much. And then coming out of lockdown, I feel like I drank a lot more, but because at that time I kind of knew what I was doing in terms of diabetes. Like, at the beginning I was tracking everything. I was using MyFitnessPal to track every single thing I ate, and now I kind of know-ish the ratios. So my ratios are 1 to 10 or 10 to 1, I'm not sure. So that's 10 grams of carbs to 1 unit of insulin. So yeah, that's basically what I do. So not really, like eating out is still quite difficult just because my blood sugar spikes so much. And like coffee, I had sugar-free syrup, but it does have the caramel drizzle on top. But even just caffeine in general spikes my blood sugar. A Diet Coke, I literally go loopy. So I don't know if that's because I'm obviously very caffeine sensitive, but I don't know if that's because of the diabetes. Not too sure about that. So like in general, no, I literally eat whatever I want. I'm a sucker for a sweet treat. A sweet treat after lunch, sweet treat in the afternoon, sweet treat after dinner. I have to do it. Like I literally, everything I eat savoury, it has to be followed by a sweet treat because I just can't do it. It's not good, but whatever. You only live once. Do you wear a CGM? If so, what one? So I do. I recently actually just got changed to a Dexcom. So I put mine here. So I used to have a Libra, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, and I used to put those on my arms, but like I just got so many like scars, and my arms are so sensitive, so it just wasn't really working. Like I'd take it off and it was so red raw. Like I have a dry skin patch here, that's from Libra, and that was from, I'm not even exaggerating, a year ago. I put cream on it every day, like Vaseline, so many things. It's not going away, so I feel like I'm stuck with that for life. So that's what I wear. I wear a Dexcom now, which I love. Like you don't have to scan it, it's just automatically on your phone. Let me show you. So I just have an app on my phone and you just click it. Oh, sensor expired, need to get a new one. So it just has a, yeah, so it's just a graph basically that shows that shows my blood sugar. So it's all right. It's meant to be in the grey area, so it's not been too bad. And I feel like I've been drinking quite a lot recently because of the football and moving countries and everything like that. So I feel like me and my boyfriend are kind of going to go on a bit of a detox now, just for a month or so, just to kind of get things regulated and start eating more healthy. Because I feel like when you drink, then you get a takeaway and you're hanging the next day, so then you probably get another takeaway, or you eat rubbish food. And then Monday comes, you still feel a little bit bad, so Monday night you probably get a takeaway as well, and it just, and then you have 3 days, and then it's Friday, and then you drink again. It's just a rotating cycle, and yeah, not the best. Let me go and get my insulin just so you can see which ones I use. So this is where, so all my insulin is kept in the fridge, apart from when I'm using it. I keep it in this. So this is called a Breezy Pack. I got this on Amazon and it is so good. It like keeps it cold. It's kind of like an ice pack, but you don't need to put it in the fridge or anything. So I'm on Fiasp, which is my quick working insulin. I used to be on Nova Rapid, but it just wasn't quick enough, just because I eat out quite a lot. When I used to work in an office, like to inject and then wait 30 minutes is what the time I was given. It was just too long. So this works in like 5 minutes. So I use these, and then my long-term insulin is Levemir, which I take in the morning and in the evening just before bed. And then these are the needles I have. These are 0.4, I think. 0.2 times 4 millimeters. They're the green ones. I used to have purple ones, but they were a lot thicker and they did hurt going into my skin. I will show you now. I have so many bruises. Like so many. But they are going down. I just think with the heat I'm injecting a lot more. But it's okay, I feel like my body will regulate soon. I'm just sweating so much, and like I'm becoming a bit, is it insulin resistant? But like I have to take more because it's just not going down. So I've kind of had to try and deal with that as well while moving country, because it's so difficult. Like, I've been on holiday for, last summer I was in Spain for a month and I never had that. I think it's because the heat wasn't this hot, I'm not too sure. So yeah, is diabetes hard? I wouldn't say it's hard, I just say it's different. Like, it's just something you have to live with. I feel like it's kind of, it's not similar, but like in terms of something that's generalized, it's kind of like PCOS. If you take it, obviously I could die if I don't inject, right? I don't like injecting. It's literally left bruises all over my body. I don't do it on my arms because it leaves bruises. Like, that one there is from when I was at the Euros, and I just did it quickly in my arm because I was wearing a dress, so I didn't want to lift it up. I can do it in my legs as well, but that hurts a lot more, but my arms really do hurt. I was just like, I'll do it there. I knew there was going to be a bruise there. Kind of regretted it as soon as I did it, but I was like, oh, it's fine. Can't bother to go to the toilet. At first I was worried that people were going to look at me. I don't care now. Like, it's literally, as I said, it's like I literally needed to live. But yeah, so in terms of like diet and stuff, it's kind of similar to like PCOS. Like, things make it worse, things make it better. So like eating fruits and stuff, having a higher fat diet kind of helps because it regulates my like carb resistance. So I have to make sure that I have like a type of vegetable in my diet, in my food, like my meal. Vegetable, protein, carb. You don't have to do a low carb diet. Obviously it's personal preference. Like, I love carbs, so I can't do that really. It'd just be more hassle than it's worth, and I'm not that kind of I love food, so I'm not that kind of person that's gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna have that because X, Y, and Z. Like, no, I'm just gonna eat it and then kind of deal with the insulin, not the consequences, because I know what to do now, and like the consequences would be my blood sugar would go too high and then I'd feel really sluggish, but I know how to deal with that now, so it kind of doesn't matter. Do I avoid any foods? That's a good question. I wouldn't say avoid as such, but I know I don't really like pizza that much, unless it's like Pizza Express, like thin one, or like a proper Italian pizza. I don't like Pizza Hut, Domino's, anything like that. If my boyfriend orders from there, I'll just get like the wedges or the chicken strips or wings or whatever. So I heard pizza is really bad for blood sugar. I feel like because it's quite big and you eat it quite quickly, I feel like that's the reason. So I don't say I avoid it, but like I don't actively go and pick it. One, because it's not my preference, but two, because I don't want to deal with that. Especially because when you eat pizza, I feel like you're either doing it because you're hungover, so I'm already in a bad way, and when I've been drinking, my blood sugar is really hard to like detect. As soon as I have one bite to eat or one drink of something, it's like up or down. Like, I never know what's gonna happen, because it is just so unpredictable. Like, I can eat one thing one day, the next day eat the exact same thing, and it just have a completely different result on my blood sugar. Stress for me is a main concern. Like, when I'm stressed, my blood sugar is so high and I cannot bring it down. Like, I wouldn't say I'm stressed about moving, but obviously I'm not at home yet. Like, I don't feel at home, so I'm a bit like not on edge, but like, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like the unknown. Like, we're moving, we've literally been apartment hunting and we're moving in the next 2 weeks. Our offer just got declined, so I'm a bit like, oh my god, we have nowhere to live. But we obviously do. So it's just a bit up in the air. So stress is definitely a main contributor to my blood sugar going high, but I've been told by my doctor, as long as it's like 70% in range, which I definitely am, then it's all good. So if you are newly diagnosed, please don't stress. Like, I've had it for 4 years and I'm still learning about it. And I've been told to do loads of courses and all this stuff, but it's just so overwhelming. Like, I feel like I'm dealing with it okay. Like, I'm getting the 70% in range, so I don't want to add something else that's like under pressure. Like, if I'm doing well, why should I change it kind of vibe. Obviously, yes, I can do better and I can get 100%, but that's just so unrealistic for me right now. I don't have any medical concerns. Like, you're meant to, so you go get like a retinal check, I think it's called. So basically they put these eye drops in your eye and just check that you don't have any like I don't want to say disease in your eye, but like your vision's all right. And mine is, every single time I've gone, it's been perfect. I do sometimes wear glasses for reading, and that is a new thing, but my eyesight is pretty good considering. Far away, it's quite difficult to read. I'm literally just staring at a sign right now and I'm just like, I cannot read that. But I feel like eyes deteriorate anyway, so that's fine. You get your feet checked, which is something that I always do. It's difficult because when you go and get like a pedicure done, they're quite rough, and they can't be rough with my feet, because if they cut, then like they bleed or whatever, and my healing process is very, very slow compared to like a normal person. And I've definitely realized that when I'm like cut myself or when I'm ill, it takes me like double the amount of time it would take a normal person to recover, which is annoying, but I do just have to deal with it. So yeah, so if they like cut me while doing my feet, it's just like, oh, that's really annoying, thank you. And like trying new shoes or anything like that, you know, when you get blisters, well, mine are so bad. So yeah, I need to go get a pedicure done. I haven't found anywhere good in Dubai yet. I did get my nails done, but I just pulled them off. So yeah, but that's kind of it with diabetes, I think. I've covered all the questions. If you have any other questions, or you want some advice, or just need someone to talk to because you're newly diagnosed or you don't have anyone to talk to, because that's also another thing. I feel like there's quite a lot of communities out there that you can talk to. I can put some girls on Instagram that I follow that are really good for type 1, but it's also difficult because all of them probably have their own like diabetes friends. I don't know anybody with diabetes, so for me, I don't really have anyone to talk to about it as such. And like, I've joined the groups before, but it's just so much information. Like, everyone, they talk and they're just like, oh, I've been told this by my doctor, is this all right? And then like, I will leave it for like a couple of hours and I have thousands of messages, no exaggeration. And it's just like, wow, like, do you know what I mean? I would prefer to just meet one friend and then talk to them that way, because having so many is just so overwhelming. And like, I wouldn't say I'm newly diagnosed, like it's been 4 years, but I don't know that much information about it. I don't know if that's my fault because I haven't like researched it and like a lot, but I feel like when you go onto Google, it's all just negatives, and I don't need that negatives in my life. And like, the NHS is great. Like, my nurse is so good. My doctor was so horrible at the start. I had to change because she was so negative. And I was, how old was I? I was 22. And I know some people at 22, they're like living on their own, they have children, blah, 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 blah. But I was literally still at home, basically fresh out of uni, which I don't know if it's a positive or negative, to be honest. So yeah, but other than that, I feel like it's going well. I haven't had any complications as such. When I got my COVID vaccine, I got my meningitis and I got my flu jab in one. So I had 1 injection in one arm and 2 in the other, and I came down with cellulitis like 2 days after I got them. Went to Thorpe Park with my friend, and my arms were just so swollen. We had to leave early because I was literally in so much pain. And got home, I showed my mum and she was like, no, we are going to the hospital. So I was in Thorpe Park in the afternoon. In the evening, I was in hospital, and they were like, what happened? I literally told them that I had these injections, and I feel like that was like a year after I got diagnosed, I think. Yeah, it must have been like a year and a half. It was around like October, Halloween time. I was in hospital for 2 nights because it was so severe, and like, they marked me up. I looked like a cow, and then like, it just kept getting bigger and bigger on both arms, wasn't going down. So yeah, that wasn't good. But other than that, nothing. In terms of bringing prescriptions over to Dubai, that's also another question I got. So I got 4 months worth on the NHS, and I'm going home in about a month and a half to go and see Taylor Swift. So I'm picking up my prescription. Hopefully by then I'll have insurance by my job, and I'll get it from there. I feel like it's not as expensive here as it is in other countries. Like I know in America, like it's so expensive, but I have enough, and I don't want to say I'm being stingy with it, but like when you test the needle, so when you do it, you put the needle in. If you are needle phobic, please turn off now. So you put it in, and then there's a safety cap, and you put it off. They're very, very small needles, and then you just test it like that. If I was in England, like I'd probably do like 3 units just to test it properly. Here I'm being very cautious about how much I'm using, because obviously I only have a certain amount. Yeah, I'm not like rationing, is that what it's called? Like I'm not doing that, like I'm taking the precautions, I'm being healthy about it, and taking as much as I need, not going high just because I don't want to use my insulin. Like that is not what's going on. And I know so many people, I've watched so many YouTube videos of people having to do that in America because their insurance won't cover it. And like their insulin sensitivity has gone down, so they have to take more insulin, but they don't have enough. And they're, like it's every month there, I believe, and like they don't have another one for another like 4 days. Well, what can you do? And like it's just crazy. There was I saw an Instagram story about a young boy, a young guy, I think he was like 28, and he didn't have enough insulin, so he died. Like, sorry, like that's not okay at all. And once I changed over to Fiasp, I had lots of Nova Rapid at my house, so I sent it to a diabetes charity. So if you do have some, just Google it. That's what I did, and like you can literally send it to them. They are so lovely and so kind, like so nice. They really appreciate it, because people do need help. Like, and especially in the UK, like for me to get a CGM, it literally took 8 months. Like I was finger pricking every day. It was horrible. That is the one thing I would say about diabetes, is that is disgusting. Like I really hate it. Is like if I don't have a CGM, now I'm gonna go change it. But sometimes I do finger prick, because sometimes it is wrong. Like it's technology, of course it goes wrong. But that is the worst thing. Like my fingers were so bruised. I think I bruise easily already, as you can see, but it was just so bad. And like things like that is just so hard to get. So I was paying £50 every 14 days to get a Libre, or Libra, whatever it's called, because it wasn't covered on the NHS. And I literally sent so many emails to my doctor, to my nurse, to my GP, like so many, and they were like, it's not covered on for you because of X, Y, and Z, and if your diabetes is bad, then you get covered by it. So because my diabetes was good, I couldn't get the equipment that I needed. So it really does baffle me, if I'm honest. But yeah, so I recently got changed to the Dexcom, which is better for me. I don't have to scan it. I use an Apple Watch, so I can put it on my watch, and it's just really beneficial. I wouldn't say it's better in terms of the results. I feel like they're very similar, but just for me to not actively scan it, because like you had to like scan the thing, and it was just really long. Like sometimes I wouldn't have my phone and I'm about to eat, and then I'm like, oh, what do I do? But yes, so if you have any other questions or anything about diabetes or anything like that, just message me on Instagram. I'll put it here. But thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.